Hi folks, hope you're doing well. So yes, last video said about church has got worse. Yes, it has. Well, as I said in that one, the reality is, of course, you've got people coming out of the world, and you've got most people that come forward in a meeting, the seed doesn't fall upon good ground, therefore they don't bear any fruit. If those people are staying in church, which I think they are, I don't think most of them are going back to the world. They don't need to. So if a church is talking about fruit, if a church is talking about accountability and helping people to grow, those people that are on the bad ground, they will leave the church. Because, they won't want to have that or listen to that. So therefore they will leave. But are the churches talking about that and telling people to go to God to deal with their issues? Not really, no. No, because most churches don't even talk about issues. They talk about things that are nothings, really, that couldn't offend anyone. So therefore, safe space, cancel culture churches. Very much of this world. Very much of this world. And, well, as I say, I mean, a lot of people were seeing Mr. Blackaby, Chris Blackaby, as the hope that was bringing the talk about, sons of God and the church and stuff like that. But then he comes under a pastor. He desires to be under someone else. Well, he's someone who was being led by God. According to his testimony, at a point he was being led by God. God was providing for him. God was basically having a relationship with Chris. And Chris goes back to the church. Yeah. Well. Yeah. To me, that's sad. I look at that and all I can see is sadness there, because it's like, you had something. You had a relationship with God. And you went back under the authority of a pastor. You were under the authority of God. Only under the authority of God, and you went back under the authority of a pastor. Yeah. Yeah. I look at that and I go, ooh. Yeah. Yeah, that's not something I look at and think, wow, that's really good, that. Yeah. I think, oh dear, that hasn't ended well. But it hasn't ended, that's the point. He hasn't. Chris Blackaby is still alive, so it hasn't ended. But, yeah. No. Look, the reality is, the Lord told us, as I said before, the Lord told us, didn't he? When he says 75% of people coming forward will be in bad ground. And then he said, also, the devil will put his people in the church as well. Right? Tares. Sowing tares in the wheat field. Yeah. So he told us it's going to be a mess. He told us that. Well, again, if you understand that the church, that those 75% that the seed falls on bad ground, if you do the math and understand that, even if 60% of those people stay in the church, then the church is consistently outnumbered with people who have bad ground and no fruit. So as I say, is it possible That these people are the leaders of the churches. That these people whose seed fell on bad ground, because they were able to go to Bible college, they were able to be the leaders of churches. Because churches aren't looking for fruit. If you go to Bible college, some idiotic people see that as fruit. That you go to Bible college, you pass the qualifications to be a pastor. A worldly qualification. You've got a bit of paper on a wall. Does that mean you're qualified to be a spiritual leader? A bit of bloody paper on a wall. Should it? Ugh. So there you go. I mean, to me, I think those who are background are the leaders of the churches. I really do. Well, as I say, last night, I went to the Soul Food. The leaders of the River Church were there. They didn't come over to me. Because, put it this way, if they were doing a good job at that church now, wouldn't they have come over to me and said, oh, actually, you're welcome to come back? Because we know you're going to do videos about what you see, and now we're doing a really good job now. So now you're going to see that this church has changed a lot. And now we're doing God's way. So therefore, please come back. Yeah, we apologise. We should never abandon you. Please come back. Because they know if I'm going to do videos about how the church is and what I see in the church, then I'm going to be saying the church is wonderful. The church is really good. They're doing an amazing job. Right? Like I have done about, churches in the past that have done a good job. Yeah, the church in Medway Towers, Chatham, Kent, that had the Wednesday lunchtime, where they were opened for worship every Wednesday lunchtime. That church did an amazing job. Certainly could recommend that church at that time. Not now, but at that time. They did an incredible job then. They stopped doing it about 20 years ago, so then they did a really good job. But why they stopped, it's quite possible the people that were doing the worship left. Yeah. If I was in charge of that church, I would have then gone to churches like the King's Church in Chatham and said, can we use your worship people? Whoever's available at lunchtime on Wednesday, can we use them? And then go to other churches, can we use any of your people that do worship? Because we've been doing this for 10 years and it's brilliant. People love coming to it. It's a spiritual place that people can come to at lunchtime from any church. They can just come and worship. We want to continue that. Did they do that? I don't know. But as I say, I could recommend them then. I could recommend King's Church for when they were doing a good job. I couldn't do now. I couldn't. And so, I would, of course. If I went to that church and I saw them doing good, I would say they're doing good. When I went to the African church, I was saying that they are one of the most welcoming of churches. Because they are. Of course, I mentioned all the things that they were doing that wasn't good, that wasn't of God, as well. But I didn't just mention the bad, I mentioned the good as well. And that's the point. The people at River Church, they know. They know. They can't argue. I've made them the offer that I will come into the church and I will sit in the middle and everyone there can question me about things I've said. Can point out things I've said that were wrong and out of order. They've never done it because they can't. They can't. It isn't something they can do. Yeah, I hope that they do it one day. And I hope when they do it that I have the authority of God at the time. Because if someone lies, then I'd be quite happy to take away their ability to speak. If all they can use their mouth for is lies, then I'd be quite happy to say, okay, your ability to speak now is gone. You will never speak again. But that wouldn't happen because, yeah, I might. In most things.